Okay, I'm going back to the File Explorer here. Now here's our folder where we just put our Drupal 8 Alpha 12 version. Now what we're going to do here, just like we have in previous videos, is we're going to use this folder because it has the whole AMP stack set up for it already. We're going to use it to run our examples. We have a couple of examples at the outset here that are not Drupal specific. They're to get us familiar with the YAML syntax. And then from there, we'll be working with modules directly in Drupal 8. So I'm going to open up this folder, and then let's jump to our resource pack directory, and it should look something like this. We have the Symfony and D8 and upgrading modules folder, which contains all of the examples that we'll use for the remainder of this series. If we expand this, we'll see our steps folder here, and our first step is this folder called initial state. Now this is the state of the Symfony framework that we were building in previous videos, saved from the last edit that we made. The way that we ran these samples is we created an examples folder inside of our Drupal directory, so let's start by doing that. I'm going to create a new folder and call it examples. And now let's copy over this first folder, and I'll open up the examples folder over here and paste it in. And while before in previous videos this folder would be called Symfony, we're going to call this one Symfony 2, just to differentiate it from the previous examples. So I'll just rename this Symfony_2. Now if we expand this, you'll see something very similar to what we had before in our examples, except we're now missing the vendor folder. The vendor folder is what's created when we run Composer install. So let's pull in those files through Composer, and if you're not familiar with Composer at this point, watch some of the earlier videos in this series on how it works. So to run this, we need to open up a terminal screen. You see that here. I'm going to type in cd space because we want to change the directory to the location of our folder. Then I'm going to go back to my File Explorer, and I'm going to drag this folder over and drop it in. Now this is just one way that we can change directory to this place. All right, so now we should be in the right folder, and we should be able to run composer.var install. Now if you're on a Windows machine or you've installed this a little bit differently, you might not need to use the .var. I'll hit enter. Okay, it looks like it set everything up, and we should be good to go. Let's test out the example that we were using in our previous videos, which was a controller that allowed us to pass a year through the URL and have it check whether it was a leap year or not. So let's jump to the browser and go to your Drupal 8 installation, so you should be on the home page, and we'll go to the examples folder and then Symfony 2, and we'll do a slash and use front PHP, which is our front controller, and the rest of the URL is leap year, and then we can pass the value in through here. So let's see if year 1 was a leap year, and we'll hit enter. All right, so we should get something like, nope, this is not a leap year. Perfect.